I didn't do half of the things that they say I did.
Mark, you pled guilty to them. Okay, that's over with, right? The day for you, in reference to court, the day for you to say I didn't do this is over. You accepted a plea.
Okay, so Mr. Segura, when you were here and entered your plea of guilty, asked you some very specific questions about pleading guilty freely and voluntarily, and then pleading guilty because you actually did what they charged you with, and your answers to both of those were yes. The version, however, that of your version that I received here in the pre-sentence report is a little different. It says that you didn't have the drink until your vehicle was stopped. And so your version, if I'm to believe it, is that you stopped at the Taco Bell.
Yes, ma'am.
You drove to the Taco Bell.
I drove to the Taco Bell.
You stopped at the Taco Bell and you drank while your vehicle was stopped.
No, ma'am. I was outside the vehicle when the officer.
So you hung out at Taco Bell.
I was there
and drank.
I was waiting for the line to move so I could get my food.
I asked that the defendant be sworn.
Yeah. Let's do that. Raise your right hand.
One. So before we get to the real fireworks, let me catch you up fast. Mark had already stood in the same courtroom and pled guilty, freely and voluntarily. He said yes, he did it. Case closed, right? Wrong. Because by the time his present tense report landed on Judge West's desk, his story had quietly changed. Now suddenly, he wasn't drinking and driving at all. His new version, he was at Taco Bell, just waiting in line. And that's apparently when he cracked open a cold 40-ounce beer. Judge West doesn't buy it from the jump, and you can hear it immediately in her tone as she starts picking apart his timeline. Did you go through the drive-thru, or did you park? Were you in a parking spot? Were you in the line? Mark keeps stumbling over his own answers. He parked. Then he was waiting in the drive-thru. Then he was outside the car. Then he got back inside to drink. Every answer opens a brand new hole. And Judge West isn't confused. She's building a case piece by piece. She even stops mid-hearing to have him sworn in under oath, because at that point, the story has shifted enough that everything from here on needs to be on the record. And what happens next? Things get even messier.
So you're telling me that you started drinking at Taco Bell?
Yeah, I opened the container. That's how the beer came. It was on the floor.
So from the time that you started drinking at Taco Bell to the time that the officers got there, about how long was that?
Maybe 15, 20, 30 minutes, whatever.
Okay. How much did you drink between that time?
I had a malt liquor. The 211 is a strong beer.
Just one?
It was a 40 ounce.
Right. So you drank the whole 40 ounces.
I was drinking out of the thing. After the fact that I
You were drinking out of what?
After I stepped back in the car, I started drinking.
Right. So how much of it did you drink?
I consumed a lot of it.
Okay, so let's just say you drank most of
it.
1 40-ounce.
It was getting contained.
So that's your story, and you're sticking. Hold on. So is that your story, and you're sticking with it? That you drank most of 1 40-ounce beer in about 15 to 30 minutes, and that you hadn't drank anything before then?
No, except for that night before, about 2 o'clock that morning. Okay. And then whole blood alcohol stays in your blood system, added to what I drank.
Okay, so your test on this night after drinking most of a 40-ounce was 0.188. And you're wanting me to believe that that's based on most of one drink, and that maybe you still had alcohol in your system from the day before.
Yes, ma'am. But
okay.
It's not going, you know what I'm saying? It ain't going, it ain't going.
But what I recalling my memory, ma'am, I have no reason to try to trick you, Miss West. I'm telling you the God's honest truth. Like I said, I had alcohol in my system from the night before.
How much did you drink the night before?
Well, I was intoxicated.
So what you're telling me then, if you had, hang on, so if you had that much alcohol in your system from the night before, that you were still probably hold on. Watch where your story's going.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're telling me you had so much in your system the night before that it was going to still be in your blood, and you had just driven to the Taco Bell.
No, I drove into the Taco Bell later on that evening.
You're not right.
But it wasn't a full 24 hours.
Right. So if you're saying that 0.188 is because of the night before, then all likelihood you were drunk when you were driving from the night before, if I'm to believe your story that you only had most of one drink while you were there. See how that doesn't make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
After Judge West finishes dismantling the blood alcohol story, the hearing shifts into much slower, more procedural territory. But don't let that fool you, because what happens here sets the entire foundation for the sentence. The state calls a fingerprint expert named Mr. Robinson to the stand. Why? Because Mark had pled not true to the prior felony enhancements listed in his indictment, basically pushing back on whether those old convictions were actually his. So now the state has to prove it, conviction by conviction. Mr. Robinson walks the court through 20 prior judgments and confirms through fingerprint comparison, date of birth, and SID numbers that yes, every single one of them belongs to Mark. Judge West then goes through each case number herself, one by one, out loud. She finds 3 specific prior felony offenses true, all from different conviction dates. One gets marked not true, because there simply wasn't enough evidence tying it clearly to Mark. There's even a brief back and forth about a 1996 conviction that had been quietly reduced from a felony to a misdemeanor, which slightly shifts the total count. It's dry, it's slow, but it matters enormously, because those true findings are exactly what locks him into the 25 to life sentencing range. Judge West is making sure every single finding is airtight before she moves one step further, and what he says next when he finally gets to speak for himself, that's where things take a different kind of turn.
I know this is minor, Judge, but does that include the 2096, let me show you, in the PSI, in which she received 1 year before the state jail?
I just said that a minute ago. So in 96,
Okay, that's the one.
I'm taking notice that was reduced and is not a felony. So, and what that means is that it appears as though there are, this would be maybe the 7th or 8th. All right. So yes, I took judicial notice that one was reduced from a felony to a misdemeanor back on the, with argument on sentencing.
If I may, I'd like to call my client.
Yes, and he's already been sworn in. Thank you, Mr. Robinson. Go ahead, Mr. Segura or Mr. Burbank.
We're here today, Mark, to determine what punishment should be in reference to this. Tell the court why. Well, what are you asking for in punishment? Let's start with that one.
First of all, Miss Judge West, ma'am, I'm asking for mercy, for forgiveness to begin with. I'm not a bad person. Miss West, I completed high school. I had 1 semester in college for auto mechanics. I've served for the community. I worked all my life. The kids was out playing.
Where have you worked?
I worked. Starting off, I worked for Little Winners when I was a kid at the age 15. After that, I graduated and I continued working. I've been working in the plant for over 30 to 40 years. All my life, I've been working.
How many years?
Business scalp and all different types of jobs. All over.
Mark,
Yes.
how many years did you serve in prison? How many years have you been in prison?
First of all,
How many years have you been in prison?
all together with everything, I've been dead over 10 years.
Okay, and how old are you?
I'm 58 years old.
58 years old, and for 10 years, you've been in prison in DWIs and other things. So what mercy are you asking for from this court when you have 19 misdemeanors and 6 or 7 felonies? Why should she consider something less? I mean, give her a reason why.
Miss West,
What's changed?
I didn't do half of the things that they say I did.
Mark, you pled guilty to them, okay? That's
Yeah.
over with, right? The day for you, in reference to court, the day for you to say, I didn't do this is over. You accepted a plea, okay? I mean, let's cut to the chase here,
Yes.
because she could find the allegations of what she did, the true and under consideration, and it's 25 to life,
Yes.
okay? And I guess the most you've had up until this point is 5 years, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
If this case already has you hooked, you're in the right place. Like and subscribe to Court with Mia. I cover the most epic, jaw-dropping court cases you won't believe are real.
So now let's go first to when you were arrested. Were you working?
I'm receiving disability. I can't work no more.
Okay, what is your disability?
I got rheumatoid arthritis. I got prostate problems. My heart is bad.
Are you on disability?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and when were you placed on disability?
Like 2020.
Okay, so 2020 you're on disability. So while you're on disability, why are you drinking beer 40 ounces at a time? Or drinking the night before to where you're tired?
There's no excuse.
Explain to it.
I just lost my brother. I lost my mother and my father. And the alcohol just don't bring it. They're not gonna bring it.
Okay, so you have a problem.
I had a problem.
One of the things we talked about was, when you came to me was that you never went into a program.
Never.
You never went into a drug program?
I never had a chance on probation and nothing.
Well, you got.
Well, what
referred
about
to
when you
probation.
weren't on probation? What about the times when you weren't in prison and you knew you had a problem and you wanted to stay out of
Yeah,
prison?
well, I got a device since I've been home.
What do you-
No, what, that's since
Oh,
you've
yes,
been in.
ma'am. I tried.
I'm talking about the rest of your life. I'm talking about the times that you got
Yes, ma'am.
arrested 43 times for public intoxication, 39 traffic offenses, 17 times you didn't appear in court, 5 disorderly conducts, 4 open containers. I mean, these are the ones that aren't even listed on the pages.
Yes, ma'am.
Pages.
Miss West. They have 5 different other marks again.
Okay, so you're gonna
In the
stick with
system.
that this isn't
No,
you.
no, ma'am. I'm not making no excuses. I have very much high respect for the
Well,
officer of
but-
the law.
Okay.
Turn. Nobody
Do-
wants to see a 58-year-old man break down over losing his family. That pain is real. But what this clip actually shows is a man who still hasn't connected his choices to his consequences. He tells the court he didn't do half of what they charged him with. Right after pleading guilty, his own attorney had to cut him off. And when Judge West calmly reads back 43 public intoxication arrests, 39 traffic offenses, 17 failures to appear, that's not bad luck. That's a lifetime pattern. The part that hits hardest, though, he never once voluntarily sought help for his alcohol problem. Not between prison stints, not on probation, not ever. 5DW is a known addiction and 0 attempts at treatment. Pain is understandable, but pain without action doesn't change what's coming next.
Do you
Okay.
really? You
Yes,
do?
ma'am, I do.
So that's the 19 misdemeanors, the assaults, the terroristic threats, the
I-
trespassings, the 1, 2, 3, 4. This is your 5th DWI, your 2nd felony DWI. By what you need to understand
Yes, ma'am.
is that by not really taking personal responsibility and making us go through this circus that we've been going through now for an hour and a half of trying to prove that you actually have been convicted of felony offenses
Yes, ma'am.
when you know darn well that you have,
Yes, ma'am.
makes no sense to me.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Coleman,
I have no questions.
argument.
Just briefly, Judge, you have everything you need, Judge. We're asking that you sentence this defendant to the minimum of 25 years. He put himself in this situation, Judge.
If I
Go
may,
ahead.
Judge. One of the things in reference to the priors, maybe semi my fault, Judge, because if I did not object to them, to me, it would, and you pled true to them, then it would automatically go to 25 to life without the consideration of full range. He's got a problem, and he spent most of his life in and out, and it's alcohol related. I throw one thing out, Judge, but it is alcohol, and he was in a vehicle, and there is a big risk in this. Is that you place him on 10 years deferred probation, you find true to the allegations, you send him to safety, but if he screws up, he's looking at a minimum of 25 to life if you find those true, so that if he comes back. Here's the problem is that we don't know what happens when he comes back, what the new offensive violation is in reference to this. But I have done it before, Judge, in other courts where you could give him deferred. And
I can't give deferred on a driving while intoxicated. Now, we've done that on other types of,
Yeah.
you're starting with the beginning of this hearing when we were going through the, just the nature of the offense.
Yes.
Starting there, we went down the wrong path. It makes no sense. I don't believe it. It doesn't add up to what your blood alcohol level was. How you say what happened that night doesn't line up. It just doesn't. I get that 40 ounces is a big beer, but if you've been an alcoholic for as long as you're talking about, that's not going to get your blood alcohol to what it was that night, which was almost a 0.2. It was a 0.188. And I have already found those 3 prior offenses true. Those are all felony offenses from different conviction dates. I'm going to find that you previously entered your plea of guilty freely and voluntarily, find sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and at this time find you guilty of driving while intoxicated third or more. Going to sentence you to a term of 25 years in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Corrections. In my opinion, you're lucky that Mr. Coleman asked for 25, because I'm not sure that you really even deserve that with your criminal history and with how you have refused to accept real responsibility. You will receive credit on this sentence for any time that you've been in custody that the law gives you the right to receive on.
Final commentary, Judge West handed down 25 years, the bare minimum under the enhancement, and with that record staring back at her, that almost reads as mercy. 8 felonies, 5 DWIs, 43 public intoxication arrests, and not one voluntary step toward getting help. I side with Judge West. She heard him out, gave him the floor, and still chose the lowest number she could. Was 25 years the right call, or should someone with this history face something heavier? Let us know in the comments. That's a wrap on another epic case, and honestly, I have so many more where that came from. Drop a comment and tell me what you thought, and make sure you're subscribed to Court with Mia so you never miss the next one. See you there.